Oh, this is way more nerve-wracking than I've ever. I should have stuck with the original plan. Sit at the front in the chair that I'm comfortable in. But I guess in life you have to take some leaps of faith, and this will be the first one, maybe. Okay, so
this year is dedicated in honor of.
Yes, thank you. Help fill in the blank.
Adele Faust.
Adele Faust. Yes. So the Neshama should have an Aliyah, and anything that we learn today that's next to the feelings and thoughts that I have should be a schus for that Aliyah. So, okay. So normally the way that we do this, we just sort of look at the Parsha and we ask ourselves what we can learn from it. That'll give us some guidance. But because this is for a yortzeit, I was trying to think of what we could do that would pull out something specific for understanding maybe the relationship that a person has with their mother and how, what's that special kind of I don't know, grace that mothers give to their children. So this week's Parsha is a pretty, I would call it a dense one. It's got a lot of really interesting parts to it. So really follows three arcs. It starts off at the beginning with Avram finishing up the recovery from last week with the bris, and he's visited by three angels. And, you know, the Medrash says, which are those three angels? There's Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. And each, that's, you know, selfishly I always have to find a way to infuse myself into a speech. Otherwise it wouldn't be my musing. But each one of them comes with a specific sort of task in mind. So Raphael comes to heal Abraham from the bris milah. Michael comes to deliver the message that Sodom is going to be destroyed, and then he ends up continuing on to help save Lot when Abraham advocates for them. And Gabriel is actually the destroyer of Lot, but Michael also comes to tell about Sarah's son. So this is the first story that we have in this week's Parsha of the sort of the motherhood in this week's Parsha. And the way that it's brought down, we have this classic story that we're all told as kids of Sarah laughs, right? So she hears this story and she laughs. What's interesting is if we reflect on last week's Parsha, Abraham was told the same thing directly from Hashem. And what did he do? He laughed. But the way that we are always taught the story, it's not that Abraham laughed and therefore Yitzchak is called Yitzchak. We're always told the story is that because Sarah laughed, that Yitzchak is called Yitzchak. And I think there's something interesting about this, that when you think about it, when it describes the way that Abraham laughed, and we'll talk a little bit more about Abraham and his character also, but the way that Abraham laughed was an outward laugh towards God. So he laughs, he's, you know, a unique relationship with God. He can talk to him, and he laughs outwardly. When we talk about the way that Sarah laughed, it says that she laughed inside. And I think that's, you know, we think about a lot of the ways that mothers are, in a way, is that they try and hold stuff in and you know, not put it out for the kids. And there's maybe a difference in the way that mothers are for their children. So the Parsha continues, and then we have the story, the arc of Lot. And there's this story that is related to Sodom. Last week's Parsha, Lot moved near Sodom. This week's Parsha, Sodom is going to be destroyed. And in this week's Parsha, we have Abraham does something very unique. He advocates on behalf of Sodom. This is a city that, you know, doesn't invite people in. It's the kind of immorality that they're behaving in is you know, blasphemous. And yet, Abraham decides to advocate on their behalf. And I think that really is a unique thing that we can take away also, because Abraham is a person who, he's the first one that really gives us a sense that we can make a change in this world. Bris milah, we make a change. There's a way that we can influence the world in a kind of a powerful way. And he goes so far as to do advocacy for the people that are all the way on the opposite side of him. He does it in a way, he argues with God, you know, rationally. What if there's 50 people there that should be saved? Keeps reducing the number. Eventually, you know, the way that the destruction goes is the way that the destruction goes. But we have this act from Abraham of this advocacy. And then the angels get there, and they're going to deliver this message to Lot to get him out, to save him for the second time, possibly because of Avram's advocacy. And when they get there, just maybe as an aside, but it's very interesting lashon that they use, a language that they use to describe what happens with Lot, with the angels. They come in and Lot says, "Hey, come here, hide, don't get involved in all the mishigas," and he hides them against their better judgment, whatever it is that angels would have better judgment. And the people of Sodom find out, and they come and they use the language of bring them all out and neida. We're going to know them. And there's this, this is biblical language. It's, that Sodom is doing what Sodom does in this case. So they're, this is, I've been trying to keep it PG. And you're eating breakfast. So the story of Sodom happens. And what happens at the end of the story of Sodom? We have one example of maybe an often forgot mother. We have Lot's wife. There's no point really. We don't often refer to her as the mother of anybody. We often refer to her as the story of Lot's wife. And what happens with Lot's wife? She is, I guess, is a character. Not to say this, she turns into salt. So as the kids say, she was, stuck being very salty. I don't know if that is what the kids say. They could say that. And it's this sort of challenge that she has where.
You never heard she turned into salt?
That I heard. I never heard anyone say she's salty.
Salty. She's salty. Salty is like, but it's.
Sassy.
Is it sassy? I thought it was like. Okay, it means
That's what the kids say.
something is. She can't get over something.
No, I heard salty.
No?
Salty.
Mike, now you're
Okay.
All right, enough.
The recording has gone off track, but
What's
we'll clip this part out. It won't be for the children. But what's the thing that we give to Lot's wife? We say that why was she salty? Because she turned around. She was very stuck in the past, and when you think about what we can learn about this, the idea of passing on to the next generation is to let things move forward. So Lot's wife wasn't able to do that, and I think there's sort of a balance of being, understanding where you come from, but also to let things go. And that's something that we can connect with the last the last part or the last arc of the Parsha, which is the story of Yitzchak. So Yitzchak is born. At the same time, Sarah decides that we have to send away Yishmael because he's a bad influence. There's a little story there that we'll come back to for in a second, and then there's the Akedah. So Sarah, when she finally has this kid, this Yitzchak, she talks about her story of why he should be named for laughter. And laughter is something that when we think about it is, there's a Kabbalistic way of describing it, but really it's a moment of a revelation. Because in the same way that a person, when they laugh, they're having a reaction at that moment, something has inspired them to laugh. It's an emotional release. There's even yogas that are, laughter yoga. There's emotional releases and all these kinds of things. You haven't come to Shir in a while. But basically, this tzachak is a way of resolving that past. So maybe in contrast to Lot's wife, who got stuck being salty and looking behind her all the time, Sarah is able to transform her past disbelief, her inner "I don't believe this will happen," into something that will be a continuity for the generations. The Parsha also says that she weans her son. And that he goes on to live his life. So this is an important moment that's brought into the Parsha. Hagar is also this little snippet that's brought in. When she gets kicked out, we don't hear that Yishmael is the one who advocates on his behalf. We hear that this is the story of Hagar. Yes, Yishmael is part of it also, but when they go out and they're lost in the desert and they can't find anything to drink and they're on the verge of dying, Hagar puts her son away and she creates distance from him. And by creating this distance, Yishmael cries out, and then Hashem tells Hagar that here's a well. So again, it goes back to this idea that I think, by letting the next generation go on a little bit more and giving them some room to do their thing. They cry out, they'll learn on and be able to advocate on their own behalf, but still Hashem has a unique connection with mothers. And maybe just in closing, the Parsha also ends, we don't see this in there, with the Akedah. And the Akedah is something that we read every year. Both of these parts are from Rosh Hashanah. But we read the Akedah every year on Rosh Hashanah. And there's a story that says that when Sarah found out that Avram had taken Yitzchak to go and bind him, is when her soul ascended to heaven. And that's the way that it describes it. It's a unique thing. You see really how much their caring there is from a mother, from a parent to a child in this case. So I guess when I was originally looking at this parsha, I was struggling to find something that could tie into a yortzeit and to find a way to do this. But I think we're given examples of a number of different ways of mothering, and some of them are, about understanding your past but passing it on to the future, about the struggle really of being that character and that transformation of having a doubt and an old life of a laughter, the disbelief, and then turning it into passing it on for the next generations. And I think that this could be something that we can take away from this week's parsha around understanding this week that it's an Aliyah's Neshama, the same way that Sarah had an Aliyah's Neshama. It should be an Aliyah's Neshama for Adele.
Good.